already love the Hyundai Kona because it is one of the best subcompact crossovers in its class, and I even really love the EV version. Now that the Kona N is here, it introduces a performance variant to the lineup to make it even stronger so that there's something for everyone. And this is basically like a little hot hatch, and I've been having so much fun with it all week.
For more expert car reviews, don't forget to share our channel and subscribe so you can catch some of this and maybe even a little of that.
So the regular Kona was already such a great driving crossover. It was a really good base to make this hopped up performance N model. It drove really well, so this one just amps things up that much more. And as far as I'm concerned, this is a hot hatch. I know it's technically a crossover, but I'm telling you, it does not feel like one at all, and that's a really good thing. So to me, this Hyundai Kona N feels like it belongs in between the Volkswagen Golf GTI and the Ford Focus ST, which they don't make anymore, but it was one of my favorite hot hatches of that time. And this kind of feels like a good in-betweener because it's maybe not as refined as the GTI and not as rascally as that Focus ST. So it's a great in-between. It's a great balance of the two. It has lots of personality and lots of refinement, and I'm having so much fun with it. So in regular driving mode, the Kona N feels pretty much like a regular Kona because it was already such a great driving SUV to begin with. The only thing you'll notice is that the N is so much stiffer. And I swear to God, my passengers were like flying around all over the place. You can't drink coffee in here because it's just gonna get really splashy. And it is not a complaint, it is just a warning because the payoff that that stiff suspension has and how well the Kona N handles is totally worth it. This thing just dives into corners so confidently and stays so stable. It makes me feel great as a driver. So even though it's really, really stiff, the payoff is definitely worth it. So I know people say this a lot about performance cars. It's kind of a cliche, but this actually does feel like a go-kart in the way it tackles corners. It's very easy to manage driving it really quickly. And one of my favorite things about cars like this is that you do not have to be a pro driver to get the most out of it and not think that it's going to kill you. The other thing I really love is that when you flip it into sport mode, it gets really animated and it has a ton of personality and the exhaust sounds hilarious for a car that's this small. I absolutely love it. The other thing about the Kona N's driving dynamics I really like is the steering. It's a great highlight. It has a nice weight to it. It's very accurate and precise, and that's exactly what you need in a car like this. So when I first got into the Kona N, it has this bright red NGS button, and it definitely looks like a go fast button, but I had no idea what NGS stood for. So I made people guess, and here's what they came up with. Nitrous gas system, no good scoundrel, never go slow, nice gratifying speed, nerds get sassy, no garlic sauce? That was a Dan suggestion. He's always thinking about food. So it actually means N-grin shift, which means nothing to nobody, but all you need to know is that they should have just written boost on that button because what it does is when you press it, it unlocks 10 extra horsepower and 20 seconds of overboost when you need that extra punch. And I love it because it makes me feel like Monica! So this Kona N is powered by a 2-liter turbocharged 4-cylinder engine. It has 276 horsepower and 289 pound-feet of torque. It gets all of that power to the front wheels via an 8-speed dual-clutch automatic transmission. So like other dual-clutch transmissions, there is a little bit of juddering when you're kind of creeping forward at a low speed, but once you get going, the transmission is really great at knowing where it needs to be so you can unlock the most power from it. It shifts really quickly, and there's also paddle shifters if you prefer, and they work really, really well. So some car people are a little bit upset that this Kona N did not come with a manual transmission. But if that's what you wanted, the Veloster N and the Elantra N come with a manual, so there's that option as well. One thing to keep in mind about the Kona N is that it is also not all-wheel drive, which might be an issue for some drivers, but I think it's okay. The only thing to keep in mind is that because there's so much power trying to get to those front wheels, there is a little bit of torque steer when you really nail the throttle, and that you'll just have to hold on to the steering wheel extra tight. And when you're really hustling through a corner, like just going ham through a corner, you will feel a little bit of understeer, but it's very easy to manage. And like I said, it's just a very easy and fun car to drive that you don't have to be a super experienced, fast driver to get the most out of. So space has never been one of the Kona's strong suits, and it's kind of the same in here. It's okay if you're in the front, but if there's tall people in front, there's not going to be a whole lot of room back there, and the trunk is pretty small. But hey, if you look at it this way, if you've always liked the Veloster N but thought it was not practical enough because it's a hatchback and has that weird 3-door layout, then this is the one you want, because in that case, it is a lot more practical. Hyundai did a really great job designing the Kona N because it looks fun and sporty without looking too over the top. And they made a lot of interesting tweaks so that it looks different from the regular Kona. And it starts up here with this blacked out grille, which looks really neat. This is a fake vent, which I don't love because fake vents are annoying. This one's also fake, but there is a real pass through here. Something they did that I love is they got rid of all of that plastic body cladding so that it looks more like a hot hatch and less like an SUV. This red strip, very cool with that N badge, but also check out these wheels. I think these wheels look so cool, and I love that the red brakes are kind of peeking out. But also check out the size of this spoiler. It is absolutely enormous, but I think the fact that it's black makes it look a lot less cartoony. Love this. It's a triangular brake light. That's something that race cars have, so I think that is a really cool detail. I also really love this red detail here. And look at the size of that exhaust pipe. It is massive. The only thing I don't love so much is that the Kona does not have a ton of room inside. There is about 360 liters of space back here with the seats up and about 1,100 with the seats down, which is okay, but not great. I love the way it looks in here. I think Hyundai did a really nice job making it feel sporty and differentiating it from the rest of the Kona lineup. So it has these really great sporty bucket seats. It has this Alcantara, and it just does a really good job of keeping your butt in place when you're hustling through corners. It has really great contrast stitching, and I really like how they used all of these baby blue and red accents, although I really wish they used a lot more to make it feel even sportier and even more special. Another thing I really love about the inside is that it has a head-up display, and it is one of the ones that they project onto a little plastic screen, but it has a lot of useful information in it, like your navigation directions, and it also shows you if there's somebody in your blind spot, which I love. Because this is the N, it also comes with a lot of interesting performance data that the other Konas don't have. So it has stuff like a torque gauge, boost gauge, it has these programmable N buttons that you can use to set lap timers and stuff like that. In general, really cool vibes in here, and I am loving it. So the Kona N also comes with Hyundai's full suite of safety and driver assistance features, which means really great stuff like blind spot monitoring, pedestrian detection, automatic emergency braking, adaptive cruise control, lane keep assist, cross traffic alert, all of that good stuff. So the Kona N starts at around 40 grand plus the $1,825 destination fee, but it only has one trim available. But luckily it has pretty much everything you'd want in a car like this. It has all the features you need, and it's actually pretty comparable to something like a fully loaded GTI, which makes a lot of sense. So I've been driving this Kona N about 1,200 kilometers, and I've been getting a crazy 8.5 liters per 100 kilometers, which is actually beating its official ratings of 11.8 in the city, 8.7 on the highway, and 10.4 combined. And that's really cool because I haven't even been driving it very gently. Like, this is a performance car and I've been driving the beans out of it. So the fact that I can do that and still get such great fuel economy is a huge bonus. But you have to remember that it does require premium gas, so make sure to budget for that. To recap, I love the Hyundai Kona N's fun personality and excellent and approachable driving dynamics. I don't love how stiff it is all the time, or the fact that there's not a lot of space inside. I was actually really impressed by how well balanced the Kona N is. It does the city thing well, but also the back road driving is really fun. And it might be a little bit stiff for that regular commute, but the payoff in handling to me is really worth it. And even in comparison to the other N models, it's actually kind of practical. So if you're looking for something that is fun with a ton of personality and has some practicality, you should definitely check this out.